Hi everybody, thank you for joining us on our Facebook Live out-of-state question and answer. We are some Bradley students that are from out of state, so we're here to answer any questions you might have. If you have questions, feel free to comment them and we will answer them for you. So we'll go around and introduce ourselves first so you can get to know us. My name is Matt Friedhoff. I'm a organizational communication major, sophomore from Worcester, Ohio, which is about an hour south of Cleveland, a few states over, and my drive to Bradley is about 7.5 hours. So we can keep on going.
Awesome. Well, hey, I'm Jenny. I'm a senior advertising major with minors in professional selling and management and leadership. I'm from a small town in Wisconsin called Neenah, and for me it's about a 4.5 to 5 hour drive to Bradley.
Hi guys, I'm Melissa and I'm a freshman communications and political science double major, and I'm from St. Louis, Missouri, kind of outside of the city. It's about a 3.5 hour drive for me.
I'll go. My name's Natalie. I'm a sports communications and Spanish double major with a minor in social media marketing, and I'm from Dalton, Georgia. So for me, it's about a 9.5 hour drive here to the Hilltop.
Hi everybody, my name is Tony Briones and I'm a freshman student, music and entertainment industries major. I'm from Dallas, Texas, so that's about an 1.5 hour flight and about 12 hours driving.
Hey, I'm Kelsey. I'm a freshman marketing major with a concentration in professional selling, and I'm from San Diego, California. It's about 2,000 miles away, or a 6-hour flight, and I have no idea how long the drive is because I hope I never have to make it. But yeah, what was the biggest change for you guys coming back to the Hilltop?
Great question.
For me, it was the weather.
Yeah, the weather wasn't too different from Worcester, Ohio. It's kind of a similar Midwestern feel, but it's always nice to come back to campus, kind of get away from home, like having some space away from where I grew up, which part of the reason I chose an out-of-state school was to have an independent college experience.
Yeah, for me, I think the biggest change was from going from a city with 25,000 people to coming to a metropolitan area with 300,000 people. I feel like there's so much more stuff to do here than in little Neenah, Wisconsin, but I obviously love my hometown, but here there's just so much stuff to do within the city and within campus. I just really love that everything Bradley had to offer in the Peoria area as well, so I think it's really cool that you can also get involved in the city, and that's something that drew me to this area.
I think it's kind of similar for me too. There's definitely a size difference, but part of the reason that I chose to go out of state to Bradley, specifically in Peoria, is that I call it like my Goldilocks school. So it's like 3.5 hours away. It's like far enough where I'm out of the reach of my parents and kind of have that little bit of freedom, but it's not too far where I'd have to take a plane ride or something like that. So it's kind of the happy golden medium for me.
For me personally, I drive or I fly back home. So for me, I'm usually here on campus. So really, Bradley is my home away from home. But it's nice to be on campus, and you never have that urging moment where it's like, dang it, I'm not 2 hours away from home, because everything that you would need is so close by. It's either on campus town or it's in downtown Peoria, and then all your friends are close by, so then you get to go home with them. And then for me, I've gone to Chicago and St. Louis and just stayed with friends. So it's always nice to have that close group of friends here on campus for you to also do adventures with at local, or not super local, but other cities that are not too far away.
I think for me personally, it was just more of wanting to experience something new location, new people, new faces, new culture, and being from Texas, there is definitely a lot of that. So, but a lot of it's real different, which I wanted. It fit everything I wanted in a university and the town around it. So it was just a perfect fit for me, as it spoke to me after my first visit.
Yeah, like I said, the biggest change coming back here was the weather. I kind of got used to it when it was getting cold around me, but now that I'm here again, after being back home where December is still 70 degrees, I'm back in the parkas. Everyone's like, oh, it's finally starting to warm up, 50, 40, I can wear that light jacket. I'm freezing. But everyone's willing to help you with those cold weather tips, so that's a plus.
Now, why did you decide to come here from California? Because I think for all of us, it's a lot shorter of a trek, but why specifically Bradley from California?
Bradley was never a school I was aware of, and then when I began my college search, they sort of sent me some mail, so I kind of knew what they were, but I was like, Illinois is really far. I've never really heard of Peoria, Southern Arizona. But I knew I wanted to go out of state and I had a couple schools in mind. So I was talking to my mom about it. She was like, you know, Kelsey, we're not going to just send you somewhere like halfway across the country that you have no idea what it's like, so you have to go tour them. So I was really fortunate that I got to go and tour much of the schools I was looking at, and we actually had an extra day where we were in Indianapolis, which is about 3 hours away from Peoria, and she was like, again, Kelsey, we are halfway across the country, we're not here to do nothing, you have to think of another school you want to look at. I was like, well, I've been getting mail from this school called Bradley, I guess I'll check it out, and I just fell in love, and I'm so grateful that we couldn't have gotten an earlier flight and that I got to come and visit the Hilltop. What about you? Texas is also pretty far.
Yes, it is. I always get asked from people I know over there, why Illinois, why Peoria? Usually when I reference Bradley, I say Illinois because Peoria is not relevant at all down south. A few people know it just out of, I believe, a few movies or so that Peoria was filmed in. But other than that, like I had mentioned previously, it just fit me perfectly. Excuse me, specifically for the music and entertainment industry major. Out of all the schools I applied to and ultimately got accepted to, it was the only one that had it. There was one school in Texas that had it. I'm sure y'all know about UT Austin and then another university in Miami. But I did not apply to those. I was more focusing in the Midwest area or West Coast. So ultimately, Bradley was a fit. After visiting another university in New York City, I came over here a few weeks later, and the campus just spoke to me. Luckily, I was able to meet with my advisor within my major, within my program, and just seeing what he had done in his field of expertise and seeing what was available to me regarding my interests was just amazing. It was a no-brainer for my decision. So flight back to Dallas, I decided Bradley would be it and put down my deposit that same day.
My story is kind of the same as yours too, Tony. I went on a college happy tour pretty much. I toured 13 different colleges. I know, wowie. I had a bunch of free stuff, so that was awesome. But I actually found Bradley through a simple internet search, and I was like, oh, I knew I wanted to not be in Wisconsin, and I was like, well, we're going to look in Illinois. I knew I loved advertising just from watching those Super Bowl commercials and reading magazines, and I was like, wow, this is my passion. So I did a simple search of advertising schools in Illinois, and Bradley came up. So I toured here 3 times actually. The first time I was a sophomore in high school, so I was a little young to make a decision then, but I was like, well, I just want to see what's out there, see potentially where my future would be going. Then I toured again my senior year, and then I had a tough decision because I had 3 schools that I really liked and I wanted to narrow down. So I toured again that spring semester of my senior year, and that's when I was like, yes, this is my school, because our communications department offers so many amazing opportunities. They have a Hollywood semester. They get you in contact with professionals. I've actually had clients that are professionals and actual real companies in the Peoria area and nationally that I was able to work with. So I think that was what really drew me at the end of the day here into, like you said, it's the perfect size. It was just an amazing campus. I kind of put myself here too because I didn't know anybody. So I was like, oh, can I survive not knowing anybody? And of course, here I am now. I have friends. I'm doing just fine here on campus, and I think it's just an amazing campus too to get involved. So all those things at the end of the day really drew me here to Bradley.
Oh, question.
We actually have a couple questions. So the first one is, what made Bradley different than other schools?
For me personally, I think it was, first of all, I'm a sports kind major, so whenever I was applying for schools, there was only 13 schools in the country that offered that major at the time. And then from there, I was looking at job placement rates and internships and just networking opportunities, because I knew at the end of the day I needed to get a job eventually. And that was the goal that me and my parents both had in mind. And so we were looking at schools. My mom was like, stay in state, but then we finally made the trip up here, and then that's when I realized Bradley had the complete package, but I wasn't going to be just another number in a classroom, and I didn't have to fit a certain mold. I was going to be able to make my own path, and yes, our paths might cross similarly as other students, but we are each individuals, and you have you get to put in what you really want out of your college experience and what you want to do with your career. So that's kind of what helped me make the ultimate decision to come out to the Midwest. Like she said, I didn't know a single person here. My friends, whenever they'd ask me where I was going, I was like, Bradley University in Illinois, like just little things like that because I didn't know. So that was ultimately like the reason for me to accept and to decide to, come out to a city I didn't know, and just kind of my parents like just plopped me down here and then left. But it was nice that I've been able to grow over the 2.5 years and see where my career is going. And knowing that like my professors, they like treat you like students, but at the same time, if you ever need them for anything, they're willing to step out of their comfort zone and like do anything to help you just to be safe and to be comfortable on campus as well.
And kind of going off that, there was Bradley's size was really what made it for me. It was the perfect size to still give me that personalized attention that I was looking for. I was looking at all small liberal arts schools. Bradley was actually the biggest school I looked at, which is kind of unusual, but I really wanted that personalized attention, and then Bradley offered everything beyond that, all of the resources that you find at a bigger state school, and also a lot of different activities. We have Division I sports, we have great programs across the disciplines, nursing, engineering, all across the board, and I got involved in the speech team, which was a really great opportunity for me. So yeah, just the kind of the size and the diversity on campus was really what made Bradley different.
Yeah. It looks like we have another question.
Yeah, the questions are coming in, so. This is a two-parter. So the first part is, how did you make the most of your visit to Bradley? And also, what tips do you have for students traveling from farther away, so like restaurants, places to eat, etc.?
Okay. Peoria has some amazing restaurants around here, like especially by the water. I love food. I love to eat. And when my parents, when I came out here with my mom to visit, we were driving, as I said, down from Indianapolis, and our hotel was actually in Indianapolis, so we had to do 6 hours in a day. And coming to the visit, I think actually registering for a tour is a very important part of seeing the campus. Sometimes you think you can like walk around a school and see everything, but going on the actual tour, listening to my guide, and that sort of made the community for me. And then my mom and I actually had one of those AAA books. That's the Automobile Club. I don't know if you guys have it. But we had one of those as a guidebook, and I think they give them out for free promo. But that has like a bunch of different restaurants and stuff. You can also just Google it. But all of the places by the water, it just really seemed like there's a greater city outside of the campus, which I was really drawn to because obviously San Diego is a little bit bigger than Peoria.
Even to my mom and I, when we visited, ate right across from campus at One World Cafe. That's a really popular place for breakfast, lunch, and dinner there. But even just to check out what's near campus is awesome because that's where you'd be eating someday too. So obviously Riverfront's awesome too, but there's also plenty of restaurants and shopping right near campus too. So.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. Just kind of right by, just a couple of blocks down from Bradley's campus, there is a hidden gem, and it's my favorite. I am like a dessert person, so like I love anything sweet. And there's this like little like Hispanic ice cream shop called Las Delicias, and they have like the best ice cream flavors like ever, like avocado ice cream and like cheese flavored ice cream. And it sounds really weird, but I promise you, like go in and try a scoop of ice cream. It is really good. It will convince you to come to Bradley. I promise.
Yeah, another question?
How long did it take you to make friends?
Great question.
Great question.
Usually you get pretty integrated pretty quickly on Bradley's campus because there's so many, we have so many activities and organizations on campus that you can get involved in right away. We have an activities fair on welcome week after you move in before classes start. So you just walk around the quad, sign up for different organizations, and you get to meet people then during all the activities. So it really, at least for me, it took me very few hours to make friends on Bradley's campus.
Especially too at Welcome Week, they have so many activities for you. You're literally busy from 8 a.m. to like 8 p.m. There's so much fun stuff. I actually remember being at B-Glow, which is like concert that they sprayed paint at you, and that was on the quad that happened. And I just remember somebody shouting, "Who's from Wisconsin?" And I was like, wait, me! I am. And actually, to this day, my friend Brock and I are friends, and we used to drive back home together, but now we both have cars. But ever since that day, Brock and I have become best friends and traveled to and from Wisconsin together. Actually, funny story too, we literally live in a 25-mile radius of each other. So funny that I met somebody that was that close to my hometown this far away. So that's kind of a funny little story.
I actually met someone that went to one of my rival high schools, and she literally lives next door to me in the dorms. So that's kind of crazy. But I think the thing about making friends in college is that everyone you meet is there to make friends also. Whether they're in-state or out-of-state, have their million best friends around them. Everyone wants to make friends, and everyone I've ever met at Bradley has been like the nicest person ever and just super friendly.
Especially as a freshman too, you have a lot of floor programs, so like there's a lot of things that you can do just to get to know the girls or guys that you live with. So what we did, I remember we had like whipped cream fights on like the quad, and then we'd have movie nights and just little things like sporadically like spread out around the week. So if you couldn't attend one, there's always other opportunities for you to meet people on your floor, and then we'd also like team up with other floors in our building. That way you get to know more people. And I lived in University Hall, which is like an all freshman dorm, so it was nice to be able to meet other people. And then when you're hanging out with them, you see that like, there's like reoccurring like similar questions. That's like, how do I do this? Like, how do I do laundry? Like, little things like that. And so you kind of get to help your friends out. And that's kind of where my friendships kind of started off, was a lot through the floor programs that your residential advisors have planned out for you guys.
Yeah, even too, right in that first few weeks of school, they have Greek recruitments for fraternities and sororities, and that's where I met a ton of girls, because you get to tour and meet every single house. So I met over 300 girls in one day, so I knew that I was going to be making friends from there on out. And you also too get a group of girls too with a recruitment counselor, so I became really close with those 15 girls that I was in a group with, and it didn't matter at the end of the day what house you were in, because we knew that we were all still going to be friends. So I think it's great too to also go through recruitment and get to know other girls and maybe find a house that's right for you, which I did. So. Oh, looks like we have another question.
This is also a two-parter. How comfortable is the environment at Bradley, and was it a comfortable transition from high school to college?
Yeah, I'd say it was a pretty comfortable. That's part of why why a lot of us probably chose Bradley. Is when you visit campus, it really feels like a home, a second home. And to kind of go back to advice about visiting too, it's really beneficial to stay overnight if you can, because then you kind of get a feel for that comfortability on campus, and it makes that transition a little smoother. But college is different than high school, right? Classes are formatted a little different. They're not every day; they're every other day, or things like that. So it's an adjustment, but it's one that you can easily make comfortably. And there's so many people on campus, from your fellow students to professors to faculty and staff, that really help make that transition a smooth one. And Bradley definitely does a good job of doing that, because of our nice medium size. We have that personalized attention that helps out with that.
For sure. My biggest thing too coming to this campus was walking down the sidewalk. You know, in the high school, you sometimes walk past people and they don't necessarily say hi. Even if you don't know someone here, they say hi. And I was like, wow, Mom, people say hi to me when I'm walking down the sidewalk. So I think everyone here is just really friendly, and they actually want to get to know you. So I think that was a really cool thing that drew me to this campus and made me know that I was at home, because this is like my family. Everyone says hi. You get to meet new people and see familiar faces every single day. So I think that was just a really neat feature of how friendly our campus is.
I think the transition is definitely big, because for me it's like I'm kind of without that safety net of I could go home for the weekend if I really needed to. So there's that, but there's also a ton of technological resources like Skype, FaceTime, texting. There's so many ways to keep in contact with people from home or your family. Like my sister and I, we actually write letters to each other, which it's really fun, because that way it's like a brief update and I don't have to constantly think about calling my sister or anything. And then as far as like the transition between high school and college, I think that Bradley has a ton of resources that make especially the academic side very easy, because there's upperclassmen in your major that want to help you. Like for me, my RA is actually my same major, so whenever I have a question about a class or professor, she's been there before. And then like the tutoring in the library, it's all here to help you succeed.
Awesome. Yeah. Yeah, so I think there, the kind of point being, there's a lot of resources on campus to help make that transition, and like everyone's saying, there are other people on campus that are in your same, that have been where you've been before. That's what's so nice about even the campus itself is small enough that you see everyone that attends Bradley. There's not people that are off at different branches or living super far away from campus, so you get to interact with a lot of different people that are in your major or in your club or organization or your fraternity or sorority that you can really kind of be mentored by through that transitional process.
And if you can, I think it's a really great opportunity to visit one of our out-of-state overnight programs, kind of like you had mentioned. I came and I visited and stayed overnight, and the next morning I put down my deposit because I just really felt at home at Bradley, and it really gives you kind of the opportunity to live like a Bradley student for a night and see kind of where you would be living and how it would be and walk around campus and kind of see yourself as a Brave. So I would really encourage you guys to check out the dates for those and see if you guys can come visit us.
Well, thank you so much, everyone, for talking with us and asking us questions. We really hope to see you on the Hilltop soon.
Bye.
Bye.